Hello, monkey.
Let's see what food Tulip hid today after her breakfast. Let's see.
A tiny beaver is running down a hallway, searching for stuffed animals like a toddler on Christmas morning. She stands up on her hind legs, puts her little paws against the wall, and makes the most heart-melting sound you've ever heard. This is Tulip, and she's about to teach you that sometimes the wildest animals need the gentlest human hearts to remember who they're meant to become. But before Tulip was running down hallways and stealing our hearts, she was dying, slowly, alone, fighting battles that no baby animal should ever have to fight. My husband and I never expected to become emergency parents to a beaver. But sometimes, life doesn't ask what you're ready for. It just places a tiny, broken creature in your hands and whispers, "Please, don't let me die." Construction workers, hard hats, electric poles, and the sound of heavy machinery. Not exactly where you'd expect to find hope. But there, in the middle of all that chaos, something extraordinary happened. A tiny ball of fur crawled up onto a worker's boot. Not running away like wild animals do, not hiding, just sitting there. Like she was saying, "I don't have anywhere else to go. Will you help me?" That construction worker could have walked away, could have assumed someone else would handle it. But instead, he bent down, picked up this impossibly small creature, and made a choice that would change everything. He brought her to a wildlife rehabilitator in North Mississippi, someone who dedicated their life to saving the forgotten ones. But it quickly became clear that Tulip wasn't just orphaned. She was sick. Really, really sick. That's when I got the call. "We have a baby beaver," they said. "She's not doing well. She needs intensive care. Are you willing?" I looked at my husband. He looked at me. We were already raising 2 healthy beavers. We knew what we were signing up for. The sleepless nights, the constant worry, the very real possibility that love might not be enough. But we also knew something else. Sometimes you don't choose the animals that need you. They choose you. When Tulip arrived, she was so small I could hold her entire body in my hands. And those hands shook as I realized the magnitude of what we were facing. This wasn't just about feeding and caring for a baby beaver. This was about keeping a tiny soul alive long enough for her body to remember how to fight. 24-hour care. That became our new reality. Every 2 hours around the clock, we were feeding her, checking her temperature, making sure she was still breathing. Her immune system was so compromised that she couldn't even touch the ground. The slightest bacteria could have killed her. But here's what struck me most. Despite everything she'd been through, despite being sick and scared and away from everything natural to her, she never gave up. She kept eating, she kept trying, she kept fighting to become whatever she was meant to be. And then, one morning, something changed. Instead of the tiny, lethargic creature who needed help with everything, I was greeted by a small but determined face, bright eyes, a stronger voice, and that sound, that absolutely adorable little chirp that said, "Hey Mom, can I come out and play?" I knew in that moment she was going to make it. What happened next was pure magic. This little beaver who had spent her earliest days just trying to survive began to discover what it meant to be alive. She'd run down our hallway like a furry tornado, collecting stuffed animals like they were the most precious treasures in the world. She followed me everywhere, like a puppy, but with webbed feet and an attitude twice her size. Every corner I turned, there was Tulip, ready for the next adventure. But the most incredible discovery was still to come. As Tulip grew stronger, I knew it was time to introduce her to shallow water. Beavers are born to swim, right? They're practically aquatic mammals from birth. Except Tulip couldn't swim at all. Here was this baby beaver staring at water like it was some alien substance. She'd spent so much of her early life fighting illness that she'd never learned one of the most basic beaver skills. It would be like finding a bird who didn't know how to fly. So, I did something I never thought I'd do in my life. I became a swimming instructor for a beaver. Day after day, I'd get in that shallow water with her, showing her how to dive, how to move her body, how to trust the water that was supposed to be her natural element. And slowly, beautifully, she began to remember not just how to swim, but how to be a beaver. Her body filled out, her confidence grew. The water that had once seemed foreign became her playground. Now, every day brings us closer to a decision that breaks my heart and fills it with pride at the same time. Tulip is getting stronger, healthier, more wild, which means she's getting closer to the day when she won't need us anymore. Our goal has always been release, to give her back to the wild where she belongs. But after months of being her mom, after watching her run down our hallway and collect stuffed animals, after teaching her to swim, letting go feels impossible. But here's what Tulip has taught me about rescue. It's not about keeping them, it's about giving them back themselves. Every day we cared for her, every swimming lesson, every hallway adventure, it was all preparing her to be wild again. The greatest act of love sometimes is knowing when to step back and let someone become who they were always meant to be, even if it means they no longer need you. Tulip's story isn't just about a beaver. It's about what happens when different species recognize something in each other. When a construction worker sees a tiny creature in need and doesn't walk away. When rehabilitators dedicate their lives to healing the broken. When a family opens their home to the wildest kind of love. It's about the incredible network of people who believe that every life, no matter how small, how sick, how seemingly impossible, deserves a chance. If Tulip's journey has touched your heart, I want you to know that there are wildlife rehabilitators in your area right now doing this work. They're saving orphan babies, healing injured adults, and giving wild animals the chance to be wild again. Maybe you can't take in a baby beaver, but maybe you can support those who do. Maybe you can volunteer. Maybe you can donate. Maybe you can be the voice that says, every creature deserves someone willing to fight for them. As I'm sharing this story with you, Tulip is getting stronger every day, swimming like the natural she was born to be, growing into her wild instincts, preparing for the day when she'll return to the waters where she belongs. And when that day comes, and it will come, I'll be heartbroken and proud and grateful all at once. Heartbroken because I'll miss those hallway runs and that adorable little sound. Proud because we gave her the chance to be exactly who she was meant to be. And grateful because we got to be part of her story. Because that's what love does. It doesn't hold on. It prepares to let go. It gives everything it has to help someone become their truest self, even if that self belongs in the world where you can't follow. Tulip taught me that the wildest love isn't about possession, it's about preparation. It's about caring so deeply that you're willing to work yourself out of a job. So here's to the construction workers who don't walk away, to the rehabilitators who answer the call, to the families who open their homes to the impossible, and to the tiny creatures who remind us that sometimes the most important job we'll ever have is teaching someone how to leave us. Every wild animal deserves the chance to be wild. Sometimes love means giving them that chance.